Cool. We're good.
Nice.
uh,
I really hope you can't hear me chewing my gum.
I don't think so. You might
Okay.
be. And if so, it's cool. Something different.
I'll just like hold it in there, like give it some mint.
Nice. All right. Well, hello, people, and welcome back to Morning Coffee. I purposefully decided to not do my typical hello. So I went for a more casual and
Like, hey, how's it going?
so that's fun. Um, let's see. Any announcements? I don't think so, but we're here, so this is
Hi.
great. Well, we can jump in.
Okay.
This week's topic is going to be like a fun mini series. We may not be consistent every week, like you won't always get this, but it's a really cool way to I guess get to know us a little bit, but also to get really good recommendations. So it's going to be like a recommendations series, but for today we're going to focus on movies, shows, and music.
Yes.
And it's kind of literally just based off of our experience, things that we like, things we've heard of. And then we'll welcome you, obviously, on the comments or on Instagram or I guess any other way you can find us uh, to share your recommendations, or if you feel like we were off on some, or I don't know, just open for discussion for sure. So we can start off with shows because I have a ton of those.
Okay.
I'll let you go
I'm like
first.
scrolling through everything I have. Okay, well, I'm gonna start off with the one I watch pretty much every day.
Mm-hmm.
The Office.
Mm. Yes.
That's a given. It's a good one.
So, okay, funny thing about The Office. For the longest, I was surrounded, and I still am, but
Yeah.
you'll see where I'm going with this. I was surrounded by The Office like fanatics, like hardcore. They could quote. And I had heard of it, but I didn't actually like watch the show myself. Then we got Netflix, and I was like, okay, I will watch the show from beginning to end so I can understand where people are coming from. But I think we only made it through season 3, and then we didn't like renew Netflix, so it was just like, well, there goes that. And then David got Netflix when he was in Nashville, the year he lived over there, and he
Yeah.
watched the entire show without me. So I was like, okay, that's cool. So then I watched like episodes, but it wasn't like a binge watch. Like it wasn't like from beginning to end. It was just kind of like, okay, I'm aware of these characters and kind of what happened and everything. It wasn't until we got married that David's like, you need to watch the show from beginning to end. Like, just go through it. I'm not a fan of the first season. I think it's very slow, and it kind of honestly, I think it like, if you've never like watched a show, I think starting at season 1 kind of almost sets you up for like, I don't know how I feel about it. I think in season 2, then you're like, okay, this is funny. Like this flows. I don't know. I feel like the first season kind of doesn't really give you a solid feel for the show.
Yeah. Like, so everybody goes to that first season. Everybody's like, if you think you don't like The Office, go past the first season because that first season does not represent the entire thing. Because like that first episode was completely them copying the British version, word for word, line for line, everything was exactly the same. And then after that, they're like, okay, so that doesn't work. And so they try to do something different. So it's still in that weird transition period. And then like that second season, they start getting, a little more like humorous as to what The Office to be.
Yeah.
And then after that, it gets going until, that last season, or that isn't everybody's favorite. season 9, right?
But you know what? I think the reason why maybe not, I mean, I still laughed, right? But I think the reason that maybe some people say that is because it's kind of like coming down, right? I think in
Yeah.
order to give those characters justice in wrapping up their story, you kind of you can't really do that when there's still spontaneous things happening and it's still kind of all up in the air. I think in this case, when you're the way that they're wrapping up the show, they were really trying to close it. So
Hmm.
you kind of do lose a little bit of, I guess, the humor or the what the show is known to do, like to
Yeah.
throw those random episodes and you just like laugh your butt off or just get surprised by their randomness. But in this case, you can't do so much of those randomness when you're actually trying to close it off and give these characters like a sort of the end, in my
See,
opinion.
I think it was the opposite, that they tried so hard to like add these random things into it. Because like there was that whole thing with Pam and then the boom mic person. I don't know
Mhm.
what his actual name was. And then it's like random things that weren't really consistent with the characters that they were trying to like, I guess, experiment with in the last season, because I guess they were like, well, this is the end, doesn't matter. And then you don't get a real like feeling of, okay, this is what the characters kind of like grew up to be until that very, very last episode.
Well, I agree with, oh, okay, I see. I was gonna say, I feel like within that last season, that's when they were like, this is what these characters grew up to be. But I guess I wouldn't consider myself to be like a hardcore fan, maybe like you in this case. So I'm gonna take your word for
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but that's kind of like how I took it. Like
Yeah.
it was it I guess it didn't bother me so much because I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like as long as you give these characters that good like wrap up or whatever. I will say it's one of the shows that I think did well in wrapping up in
Yeah.
opposed to leaving you with this like, what? Seriously? So yeah, I guess so. But it's a good show. We both, in this case, we both recommend it. I do recommend
Yeah.
it. Again, like we said, if you've never watched it, go past the first season and then
Yeah.
and just allow yourself to get involved with the characters because once you do, I promise you it'll be great.
Yeah. I Season 3 and season 4 are kind of like my favorite ones. And then in season 9 where they go to Florida, I really like too.
Yeah, I liked when they went to Florida.
Yeah. And so like if you're like you get to the point where you're past like you're like at season 2 and you're like, I don't know if this is really for me. I say go to like season 4 and give it
Right,
a
because
chance.
because by then you can truly like be involved, be
Hmm.
emotionally involved with these characters and then kind of care what happens to them, but then you also get a feel for each persona because that's the thing about The Office. Like they throw in so many like distinct characters that play together is
Hmm.
so great. But if you don't feel attached to them, you almost feel like you want to judge them and be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so weird." But when you're involved in it, you're kind of like, "This is funny. Like this is hilarious." Now, I don't burst out laughing in all the moments. Um, it makes me smile, but like there are times where like David cracks up like at stuff that Kevin does. And I find it more amusing because he finds it amusing. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
whenever I've watched it with David, my brother-in-law, he cracks up like to the max. And so then it also makes it more enjoyable because you're just like, wow, okay, you just be I'm like now I'm laughing because you think this is so funny. That makes that scene so much funnier. Like so much,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a good show. Good
It is.
recommendation.
I
Which
could literally talk about this for the rest of the entire like episode right now, but
yeah,
I know we shouldn't.
right, exactly. And that's why I'm moving on because I also want to bring up another show that I feel like I could talk about probably for the rest of the episode as well. And that is Friends. Okay.
Yeah.
So I recommend the show. I think it's one of those shows that you don't have to watch it in order and you could
Mhm.
still get a good laugh. Um
Yeah.
the great thing about this show, I think, is that it truly caters to different people's style of humor, at least in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, right? Because you have Joey, which is the very like dumb, like, okay, seriously kind of like humor. But then you have Chandler, who's very sarcastic, and you have that
Yeah.
sarcasm in there. And so if that's your cup of tea, like you have it. Then you have you have Monica's side. And hers isn't so much of her the humor of like how she portrays it, but more so of like her actions and how like exaggerated they can be.
Mm-hmm.
Then you obviously have Phoebe that kind of breaks down like the seriousness of like how the world can take things and kind of breaks it down into something humorous, right? Into
Yeah.
her craziness. And then of course you have Rachel, who almost has like the ditzy part of it in the very beginning, but then her humor then turns into like good comebacks. I think she's the best like one at giving good comebacks in a funny way. Chandler's good at it in the sarcastic way, but
Yeah.
that's a good character breakdown in my sense, in the humorous side. Um, but yeah, I recommend the show. I think it's really funny. I think it's also very good in character development. Um,
Yeah.
especially on Rachel. I think they did really good in at least actually like showing her progression in her career,
Mm-hmm.
and how, you know, yeah, I appreciate that, you know.
Yeah, I think for like character development, it's like Rachel and Chandler,
Mm,
like those two, because Chandler goes from like being super immature when it comes to like women and stuff,
yeah, that is
and
true.
then coming like to bloom to being the happily married father. Sorry, I ruined it. It's like 20 years old, so you should have seen it by now.
Yeah,
But
that's
you
true.
know what I mean? Like he kind of matured in that like social sense, and then she matured. She just matured
Yeah, yeah,
because ooh, her at the beginning.
yeah, yeah. That is very true. Now, of course, it being one of the shows that like was on my top list, I'm gonna give a very interesting fact because why not? By the way, this show aired from 1994 to 2004. So again, back to Carolina's point, this is like 20 years old. So okay, so the finale was actually one of the most watched final episodes of TV
Mm-hmm.
series in like history. Um, but it actually wasn't the most watched episode from their series. The most watched one was actually in 1996 after the Super Bowl. So the episode like right after the Super Bowl. Let's just gonna be creative with
The
that one.
soup or a bowl.
So yeah, so it was.
I wonder what episode that was.
I want to say it might have been one of those Thanksgiving ones,
Oh
maybe.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. That's one of the ones because we were just talking about it the other day because my brother's girlfriend doesn't like The Office,
oh, okay.
and so she's like, "You guys watch this all the time. Like, you guys must know like how this one like memorized." So I was like, "I don't think I'm the one that had. I don't have The Office memorized. I have Friends memorized. Like, I can tell you who's gonna like how they're gonna walk in that door, what they're gonna say, like
Hmm.
how they're gonna deliver that line, and kind of the facial expression. Like, I can tell you that one perfectly. I can't name like the episode name and then like what happens,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's so simple.
Mm.
But man, I can tell you.
I'm a little different. I'm very good with I don't have all the lines memorized. Um but I'm very good about like I know what happens next. And then this
Yeah,
happens. And like I think once my memory gets triggered when I'm watching it, I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is the one where oh yeah," and then I just kind of roll with it.
yeah.
But yes, it's that one I think if I had no responsibilities, I could probably binge watch that.
That's
Like
what I did when I didn't have a job before I got my job. That's what I did. I just binge watched Friends.
and it was so much easier when it was on Netflix, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I can still watch it because my brother has the HBO thing, so
Mm,
technically I can watch it. I can't for some reason I can't do it the way I did it with Netflix on there.
why is that?
I have no idea. I think it's because I can't get it on my TV.
Oh.
And so, like, for me, it was always coming home, like, chilling for a little bit and then putting on Friends.
Mm,
And now I do that with The Office.
okay.
So,
Aren't they gonna change The Office from platform?
yeah, end of the year is being taken off Netflix.
That's gonna be a rough hit for Netflix.
Yeah. We
That's
were
why they
actually looking at
love
buying,
originals.
yeah,
Hmm.
but my turn?
Yes.
Okay. So another one, I think that's one of like the top ones that most people watch. Parks and Rec is also really good. I really like that one. Although I feel like I'm living in an episode of it,
Why is that?
just with everything going on.
Oh, okay. Parks and Rec, I would casually watch with my brother because my brother was into it,
Hmm.
but I've never actually like binge watched the show from beginning to end.
No?
That one's been like random episodes and bits and pieces.
Yeah. I
But
mean, I'm not, oh, sorry. I'm not as devoted to it as I am with like Friends in the Office.
mm,
It's more of like, you know what I'm in the mood for? And then it's that I'll watch it.
okay, gotcha.
But,
Nice.
so, yeah.
Another one of mine was One Tree Hill because I
Mm,
think,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what, I mean, I honestly could not tell you what it is about it. I think I think it was just very like raw, I guess, on the emotional sense, or just like maybe the storyline or kind of how
Yeah.
it went about. But and to be honest with you, okay, maybe I do know. Maybe I think all the characters were very lovable, as frustrating as they could be, or like they all have
Yeah.
moments. There was something about like them as a group that was just
Hmm.
so, I don't know. They did a good job. They fit the role
Yeah.
perfectly.
I think, but yeah, I feel the same way like I did, like where everything was great until like the two main characters left. Like for me, the two main characters left,
So
and so like it kind of went downhill from there. And then pretty much the entire thing was on Sophia Sophia Bush's character. What's her name?
Brooke.
Yes, it was all on Brooke. And I like her and I like her character and like how she's grown and stuff.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I just didn't. It doesn't that last like few seasons. Is it two seasons or just one?
Might have been two.
Yeah. Because that first one's good. That very, very last one, I can't really watch it. And I always get to that one where it's just her and her company. And then
Mm.
I kind of drift off.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think towards the end it fell off a little bit, but I think overall
Yeah.
it was a good show. So I recommend that one.
Yeah. And it's also a pretty good intro theme song. Pretty good.
That'll come up later when we talk about
Okay, but just saying,
yeah,
it's good.
cool.
Um next. Sorry. I have my thing listed on here and I'm trying to remember everything. Oh, obviously Grey's Anatomy. I'm a very big fan of that one.
Okay, so I started that one. Um, I like the storyline with the characters. I
Mm-hmm.
just wasn't a fan of the medical stuff. Like
On the opposite.
it wasn't so much. Ow! I always get something in my eye when I'm recording. Um, it's not that I don't enjoy the medical stuff. It's just this one was very, or maybe it was just the beginning, but it had a lot of visuals, and I obviously you guys know me. I'm a chicken, so I can't see that stuff. So it because it took up, obviously they were in the hospital like all the time.
Uh-huh.
It kind of took up the whole chunk. So I was like, I mean, and then I
Yeah.
obviously know that one of the main characters doesn't make it, or a lot of the main characters don't make it. Spoiler alert for whoever. So that kind of also killed it for me because I was like, well, I don't want to get my hopes up and then just kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, I'm not gonna invest myself emotionally into all of this if I'm setting myself up for failure.
This one's one of the particular shows where I'm invested in every other character but the main person. Like I really don't care for Meredith. Like
Oh,
she gets on my nerves.
me neither.
Like
But
like I watch it with my sister and we're like, ugh, she's the worst. Why is she still on here? But we know she's gone. It's not really there's no story. So like
that is true.
So
That's a good point. Yeah. So that's why to me it didn't make it on my list.
yeah.
But it's not to say that it's a bad show. I mean, it's not. I mean, just depends if it's your cup of tea. One that I have to say that I'm very surprised with that I recently binge watched, I will admit, is The Good Place.
Oh yeah, that one's cute.
Good show, like
Yeah.
it's not my favorite, but it got me. I think what I appreciated about the show is like how they always talked about like philosophy. So it was really
Mhm.
cool because they actually gave you content. It wasn't just like, oh, we're gonna skip over those parts. They talked about it. So I felt like I was learning, but it was so funny and dumb sometimes that it didn't make me feel like I was like at a lecture or anything like that. So it was like a
Yeah.
really good balance. I'm kind of just waiting for Netflix to throw in that last season so I can watch it and then be done with it because I feel like I've been left hanging a little bit.
Yeah.
But I recommend the show.
So yeah, I've watched the whole thing entirely already.
Mm.
So,
Okay, no,
but
no
like,
spoiler alert on that.
yeah, I'm not gonna go. But I do like how they ended it. It felt like it was like completed perfectly fine. Like it didn't, like the show didn't run off like too long.
Okay,
Because some shows can do that, and I feel like they ended it perfectly, and it was a good ending.
nice.
Like I cried a little. I had a few tears in my eyes, but I'm
Okay,
also very emotional when it comes to shows. So
ooh, I am too.
I, I cry a lot. Like when we talk about Grey's Anatomy, cry all the time,
So
every
I've
single
heard
time.
I've heard quite a few people talk about that. So you're not alone.
Yeah, I'm like I want to go back and watch it, but I just haven't.
Okay,
Um,
your turn.
Another one I like to watch is Jane the Virgin. I don't know
Yeah,
if you've watched that one. Okay, yeah, it's
yeah.
really good.
I think this could just be me, but I think that was one of the first shows that I watched in that
Mhm.
style, and I liked it, where the
What do you
narrator
mean in that?
is very involved.
Oh, okay.
I like probably be because the guy has a good voice and he sounds
Mhm.
good. Um, but I think the narrator, to me, they managed to balance it well without making it seem like they put him right in the right spot where it was necessary or it was
Mhm.
good without like overdoing it or making it seem like, oh, you're wasting my time or what's the point of this. So
Yeah.
it added a good humor. I liked it. I think again with this show at the end they did too much switching for me,
Mhm.
that it's just like, okay, by this season she should not be wishy-washy or like,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean, like I don't know, mixed feelings, but I think overall it was a very enjoyable show. So
Yeah. I agree with everything you just said.
thank you. I have to like slowly cross some of them off so I don't get lost. um
Sorry.
that's fine. Oh, another one I was gonna mention, and this
Mm,
is this is big. This is kind of like up there with Friends.
mm.
Once Upon a Time. I love that show.
I don't think I've
Mm.
watched the last season.
Okay, so
So I only know up to a certain point.
okay, I'll be good about not ruining it if you ever want to
I
finish it.
probably won't go back and watch it. I'll be honest.
Well, it being a fairy tale show, I appreciate that they gave us a fairy tale ending because otherwise that would have been terrible. Now, as much as I did love the show, I did think it was time for it to end, which
Yeah.
is kind of like a bittersweet thing to say because, of course, I loved it so much I would have kept watching it. But at the same time, I think that they juiced out as much as they could. Um, but it was a very, to be, in my opinion, it was a very intelligent show. Like,
Yeah.
if they hadn't done it, somebody would have eventually come up with it. But I thought it was genius. Um, Again, the character choice or the what do they call it? Like the cast that they chose
Mhm.
was wonderful, honestly. Whoever was in
Yeah.
charge of that, you're probably not ever gonna watch this, but just kudos to you.
Top
Um,
notch.
it was a great show. I recommend it 100%. Like it, that one made me cry.
I
Stinkers.
think there's only one thing that actually made me cry, and that was with the evil Queen Regina. And yeah.
Well, the other one that got me was Neil,
Mm. Who was that?
Henry's dad.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry, it just hit me.
Yeah, so there were quite some moments that did break my heart. So they
Hmm.
definitely got in the feels. Um, but yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah, it is.
I actually haven't watched the first season completely. I picked up on the second season.
Oh really?
Hmm.
Hmm.
But
Maybe I should go finish it.
now the one with
Yeah.
the sisters about Elsa and Anna, I don't care for that season. That was or
Yeah.
that particular villain or
Maybe that's why I stopped watching it.
yeah. But all the other villains, that's cool.
Yeah. It was a really well done show.
It
I will
was.
give them
It was. All
that.
right, your turn.
New Girl.
Mm.
That one's good.
That one had me at moments where I was so frustrated and I was like, why? Why? But I have to say,
Wait, like what frustrated you?
sometimes she did. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I felt like she was just too much for me. And I was just like, I don't know why I'm still watching this. But I think they were very, very smart about how they went with the storyline that was
Mhm.
able to like bring me back. Kind of like, okay, I'll stick it through. You know what I mean? Um, sometimes it was the guys. I think one
Yeah.
of my favorite ones was oh man, I recently remembered his name. Uh
I'll know, just tell me.
well, what are the three guys? What are their names?
Nick, Schmidt, and Winston. Nick is the one that dates her.
Mm-hmm.
Schmidt is the one that
The police.
you say that again?
No, Winston. Winston. He's my favorite.
Really? I do like him. But I think Nick beats him out just a tiny bit.
Mm,
Because I think Winston's just a main like funny character and he's there for the humor. Nick was there for like he had that kind of all around character
okay. Yeah.
where you were invested in his love life, but you were also like he was just funny and entertaining.
I think for me it's because I liked how they paired him with Allie. I
Yeah,
I think that was and she complimented him. So it
hmm,
made their chemistry fun to watch.
yeah.
So
They're one of the couples that you're like, okay, yeah. Actually, all the couples I like, I rooted for every single one of them. I wasn't like, I don't
it's
know.
true. That is true. There wasn't a point where it was just like, yeah, I hope she doesn't end up with him or anything like
Yeah,
that. That
because
is
there's some shows where like you're like, I don't like you two together. You're better with another person. But then they start showing them together. I'm like, oh, okay, I see it.
yeah.
And this one I was just like, okay, this is who the perfect pairing is. Just leave it at that. Let them let them be in love.
Yeah, that is true. Um okay. Another one. Oh, I have so many on here. I don't even know which one to go with. Okay, I'm gonna go with Big Bang Theory.
But
I
I do
think
like that one.
I think again it's not on my top list, but if I see it on
Hmm.
TV, like I'll watch it because I think there it's weird because their humor is different.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain this one. I just it's funny. I mean, it's a different funny, but it is funny. I
Hmm.
enjoy watching it. I don't think I'm so much invested in them in the whole sciencey stuff because that's not me. But I think just kind of like their conversations.
Yeah.
That I don't know. So that I would recommend
Yeah.
it too.
That's another one where I haven't finished watching yet.
Me neither. I haven't watched it from beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what how it ends because like there was like a video where it's like the very last thing that happens in
I don't
Big
think
Bang
I've
Theory.
watched the ending. No, I don't think I've watched it.
Do you want me to ruin it?
Okay.
Okay. It's just Sheldon gets the Nobel Prize and
Mm,
he's like thanking everybody who was in his life, and then they're all like at the front row, and he's giving a speech about like how he loves them pretty much. When he was like at the beginning, kind of cold and distant, and like these people aren't for me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cute. It was a cute ending.
Aw,
Yeah,
that's nice.
nice.
Cool. Okay, what's your next one?
I'm gonna go with like a spookier one. Actually, no, let's skip that one. We'll leave that for later. I'm gonna go for my British shows, and I like The Crown on Netflix.
Never watched it.
It's about Queen Elizabeth and kind of like her story or whatever, like how she came to be, start reigning,
Mm-hmm.
and like everything that's going on. I think they're gonna have one more season, and then it's gonna be over. But 4, maybe 3.
Okay.
I don't know. It's really good, but again, it's a British show, so not everybody likes it. I know some people just can't watch British shows, and I don't get it personally. I love British shows, but
Speaking of British shows, Sherlock Holmes.
yeah, sounds good.
I love him. I think if I met him, I would be starstruck. Probably him and Watson. That's not his real name. That's his character name. I don't know his real name. But also probably I like him too because he was in The Hobbit and I think he did
Something
a
Martin.
phenomenal job. So,
Something Martin.
Something like that. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think they were really good together. Like they casted it perfectly.
Yes. That definitely makes or breaks a show.
Yeah.
So, okay, I just went. So your turn.
Oh, there's it's like a murder mystery show called Broadchurch. It's also a British show. It's really good. So if you like murder mysteries and stuff, that's one to like watch. It's not how you would expect it, and it's only like 2 seasons, so it's not like a long thing to watch. But it's really, really good. Yeah.
Gotcha. Since we were talking about like good pairing and like casting and stuff, I really liked Baby Daddy. It was funny.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember it. I think it was one of those ones like I watched it and that was it. So I can say I watched it, but I wasn't fully committed to it.
I think by the time that it ended, I was ready for the next season. And that's how the show ended. So that one was kind of one of those like bummers, like, oh, I think this had good potential, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that one's funny too.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go with another like I guess classic one. Gilmore Girls. That one's also really good. Although they both annoy me so much, but it's still a good show.
Started binge watching that show and I got to season 3. And there was something about it that I was like, okay, where is this going? You know, kind of just like to give myself some hope. And then I came across a video on YouTube and I was like, wait a minute, what? So then I Googled it and I got kind of just like a quick synopsis from each season moving forward, just to kind of get an idea of like where this was taking me.
Yeah.
And then I ended up reading on how it ended and I was just like, you got to be kidding me. So I stopped watching it because I was very, very disappointed in Rory's character development. I honestly feel like the writers killed it with that because I mean, at least me, I expected way more from her because from the very beginning, I guess because I had the beginning like fresh in my mind. So I just like I kind of read some reviews and other people's opinions and kind of like or comments and kind of like their perspective of it. And I have to say I agree. They kind of like not in a very obvious way, but a lot of people were saying like she kind of became a home wrecker. Like
yeah.
So it was kind of like really like you start off giving this portrayal of her only for her to end up probably worse than her mom. You know what I mean? Or like kind of just that I don't know. And then okay, I'm just gonna ruin it for people, so I'm gonna stop.
Well, I mean, did you watch that like the day in the life or whatever or something
I
like
watched
that?
the beginning of that, and that's what
Okay.
kind of like told me I'm not gonna invest myself in all of this for that.
But I mean, you kind of saw it coming, obviously, because when she had that relationship with Dean, I don't
Mm,
remember if he had seen it yet, if that was happening later on, but like he gets married and they like he cheats or she cheats with him or whatever. I don't know. I think it wasn't so out of character because it kind of shows you like how she would have been if like she had just been with her mom and then kind of like her like pull between living that life of like higher class or whatever
mm,
and then living the life her mom technically wanted her to be and
mm.
her like kind of going back on what everything her mom taught her.
That's what I'm saying. I
I
don't know.
know, but like
I guess it was expected if I would have kept watching, but where I stopped at season 3, it was a huge
yeah,
disappointment to kind of see that that's where it led up to. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I hadn't witnessed her like, with all of
mess up. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't like again, like I really don't like both either the mom or Rory. I really don't like Rory like at all, like with a
Mm,
passion. Because I think she's dumb. And I think her character showed that, like her character development showed that right
mm.
away, like no matter what she did. So
I
for
think
me, it wasn't unexpected.
she wasn't very like her own person, if that makes sense. Kind of like
Yeah.
I think she depended too much on other people's affirmations for her to go
Mm.
through with something or for her to like commit to it or I don't know. It was just I don't know. I put not Gilmore Girls on my list. So and that's why.
Wow. That's one of the ones I've only watched like 2 or 3 times. I think I haven't fully. I'm not a complete like rewatcher where I watch it like every
Mm,
year and stuff.
gotcha. Another one of mine that I was actually surprised by was Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
Oh,
That was
I've seen some stuff about it, but I've never seen it.
yeah, I went in with the mindset or the mentality that it was going to be cheesy or like not my cup of tea, but
Mm.
I mean, I think on some parts the singing was a little much, but for the most part they were really good about not like prolonging that. Like it wasn't a full-blown musical. I think
Yeah.
parts that they added like the singing was appropriate. And the storyline was very very good. Or at least it got me hooked. So and it has the
Maybe
guy
I should give it a try.
yeah. So I recommend it. At least to like you said, to give it a try.
Yeah. I'm not very big on like singing like with TV shows. Like I always skip for some odd reason. I don't know why people do this. They always have one musical episode. Like you're ruining an entire show because you want to have the people sing. Like don't do it. Your people don't sing every single episode. Don't have a musical episode, please. Like Grey's Anatomy did it, and I skip it every single time. I was like, this is the worst
Did
decision y'all
it?
ever made. Yes.
Okay.
And then another show I was gonna bring up, Psych.
I haven't watched it.
It's really good. You should watch it. But they did the same thing. They had a musical episode too. But Psych is, always about this guy who says he's psychic or whatever. He's not. He's just very good on picking up details.
Mhm.
And so it's him like going around solving mysteries and stuff, really solving crimes. It's really good. It's really funny. Like
Nice.
a wholesome fresh friendship in it.
Oh, excuse me. Another one, and this is kind of an oldie, is House.
Yeah, that one's
My
good too.
sister was really into the show, and I would kind of just watch it with her. But I liked it. I mean, the guy was kind of like a love-hate relationship, the main character,
Hmm.
House. um, but it was a good show. I think it was a good
Yeah,
show. So that's
yeah,
another.
that's a good one. Although I did not like that ending because it
I
was sad.
haven't seen the ending, so
Oh,
yeah.
I it was sad.
Okay. Well, now I know.
But yeah, but it's a good one. Um, so there's a show I recently just finished called Mrs. America, which is like set in the 70s, and it's about like this kind of the rise of the feminist movement and like this thing called the ERA, which is the Equal Rights Amendment, and like the group that was fighting against it. So it's a really interesting show. Obviously, if you're not very fond of feminism, which I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna be quiet. But if you're not fond of feminism, don't watch it because you kind of painted as a terrible person.
Oh, okay.
And so if you're gonna get your feelings hurt about it, don't watch it.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
it's a really good show.
Hmm. Um, another one. I recently watched this one. They only have one season on Netflix, but it's Sweet Magnolias. It's a
Oh
nice.
yeah, that one was cute. Yeah. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I was like, I
I
don't
didn't either.
know.
I just kind of went with it, like, yeah, we'll see. And I was surprised.
Yeah, I do like those shows where you like I'm bored. I need to watch something and you see it. And then like at the end you're like yelling because you're so invested in it. I do like those.
Although that was a pretty intense cliffhanger,
Yeah.
not confirm if they were gonna move on to the next season or not.
Yeah. I really hope they do have a second season.
Yep.
Yeah. But one like that where didn't think I was gonna like it,
Mhm.
excuse me, was the show called Heart of Dixie.
Oh, okay. I kind of watched
Yeah.
one on YouTube with the clips instead of watching it all. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was
that
good.
was one I didn't expect to like, but it was really good.
Oh, okay. That's a good, I guess, confirmation.
Yeah. Go for it. Watch it.
The next one is All American. I actually ended up being emotionally invested in that one. I didn't think I would be, um, because part of me was like, oh, it's gonna be a little too high schooly, or
Yeah.
it's gonna be too like too much, maybe.
Hmm.
But I liked it. I liked it. I'm gonna wait for that next season, so kind of pending on that one too.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen like again, I've seen like commercials and stuff about it, but I haven't. I'm kind of the same thing where I'm like, is it too high school? Do I really want to start it and watch
I
it?
think I think it brings up a lot of real world issues.
Okay.
So it makes it less like dreadful on the high schooly side.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Because like one of the shows I watch, but I really don't want to watch it. Like I'm only watching it so I can finish it because
Mhm,
I started it,
mhm.
which is Riverdale. So I'm recommending don't watch it.
Okay. No, that one never appealed to me.
It was one of those things where I was like, okay, let me watch it, and then like the first season wasn't terrible, and I was like, okay, let me see how it happens. And then I started watching the second season, and I was like, I really don't like this. And but I'm one of those people like if I start it, I have to finish it,
Mm.
and so I haven't stopped watching it. So I kind of I'm watching it just to see what happens. But I don't think I'm gonna keep watching it because I'm tired of it. I'm done. It's like the dumbest show ever, and I don't know why I keep watching it. But one I can recommend,
Mhm.
it's only one season long, which is really good, is a show called Freaks and Geeks.
Oh,
You know the guy from Bones, which is another show I recommend, that plays
oh,
Sweets?
I love Bones.
He's
Who?
like the therapist.
Oh, yes.
Yes, he's in that when he's younger. And he's like, this little tiny little baby. You're so cute. It's really
Oh,
good though. It's a high school show, but like in
back in
I
the
think
day.
it's the 80s, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Nice. Yeah, well, Bones was another one, so that's good. We kind of put that one out there. Um, the other one I had was where am I at? Is that all my I think those are all like my Netflix slash on actual. Yeah. No, Gossip Girl was on
Oh
there.
yeah, it's good.
I mean, what did I get out of it? Nothing, but
Nothing. Yeah.
It made me want to finish it, so.
Yeah. Although I don't like who they picked to be. I can say who it was, right? I can ruin that one. It's pretty old, right?
Yeah. Who they picked
Have
to
you
be.
finished it? Yeah.
You know what? I was okay with it. I just didn't like how they explained it. I think they owed it to the audience to explain a little bit more. Because you know how
Mm.
what the blonde dude, or blonde hair dude, or
Nate?
dude, yeah, Nate. He
Yeah.
asked valid questions and explanations were not very good. So I think if they had done a little better with that, I would have been okay.
Yeah. Because I think they had actually initially had someone else in mind
Mm-hmm.
to be Gossip Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then they changed it last minute. But because they changed it last minute, like everything that had in past episodes, it doesn't
Add
make
up.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a good show. Watch it, but you're gonna be opinionated about the end. At least I am. I very much am. Should we move on to like movies and stuff?
I was thinking we could just finish off our shows and then just
Perfect.
kind
Okay.
of maybe next week move on to the next one.
Okay. Um. So a show that I like to watch that I've been watching for like ever. But again, it's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's Supernatural.
Mm,
It's
I haven't
it's
watched that one.
spooky. Don't
That
watch it.
one in Smallville, like those, I haven't watched.
I like Smallville, like the older episodes. I'm very nostalgic for like the first couple of seasons, and then after that, I'm like,
Did you ever watch Vampire Diaries?
no, I never watched that one.
Neither. Just watched a couple of clips here and there on YouTube, but I didn't actually like watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, there's another show that came to mind that I was going to ask you about that wasn't on my list, but I forgot. It'll come. Um, Now this isn't an actual show, but I thought it was appropriate because it's shows.
Hmm.
But like the Food Network, I can't name just one, but I love the Food Network. Like
Really?
I'm obsessed with the Food Network. I love it. I love the competitions they have. Just like I don't know, it's great. Like if the only thing you gave me was the Food Network, I would be okay. I could spend the whole day just watching the Food Network. So
I've never been a fan of like cooking shows.
no, I love
No,
them.
I don't know what it is. I just can't get into it.
Well, maybe it's because I'm like,
Because you like to cook.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like to cook. I had to cook this week all week, and I did not like it. I hated it with a passion. And then like I only really like to make chicken. Like I don't like to make anything else. Like I don't like to make carne molida or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just chicken because it's easy.
Mm.
And I'm tired of chicken right
Yeah.
now. But yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in.
See, for me, it's HGTV.
Uh,
I do
yeah,
like
that
those.
makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, I enjoy it, but if I had to choose between the two, I would go towards
Yeah,
network, like hands down. So
no. 100% go HGTV. There's this, well, obviously, what is it? The people from Magnolia Market, Waco,
I know
forgot
who
their
you're
name.
talking about. I forgot
Chip
their.
and Joanna Gaines.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Fixer Upper. I do like that one. I do like them. I really like her style,
Mm.
but there's also this show called like Tiny Houses or whatever.
Oh,
Because I want a tiny
I've
house
seen one episode.
and I get my ideas from there.
Nice. Um, this one's an oldie, but I had to throw it in there because I think it was classic, and why not mention it? Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah, it's just now they were adventurous.
Mm.
That's something else. So all you young people watching this, go familiarize yourself with what we watched.
But don't get any ideas.
Oh yes, don't try any of those things at home. Don't do that.
They were so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. But yeah, that one's a really good show. I'm trying to think of all my nostalgic ones now because I don't have them like on my recent like watch list or whatever.
Yeah.
A good show to watch if you like history but also want to laugh is a show called Drunk History. It's a little inappropriate,
Okay.
but so obviously not for children. But it's just a lot of cursing. But they bleep everything out, so it's like you're constantly hear the beat because it's a drunk person
Mm.
retelling a history, like giving a history lesson or whatever, or like telling a story, and it's really entertaining.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I mean, the story isn't fully factually correct because obviously they're drunk,
Mm-hmm.
but it's you get the gist of the story of exactly what happened. It's really interesting.
That's cool. That's different.
Yeah.
These next, and I am gonna just totally just clump them. These next few ones are shows like from the old Cartoon Network, excuse me, which is like Dexter's Laboratory, the Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Ed and Eddie,
Mm.
uh, Courage the Cowardly Dog, like all of those, like are worth mentioning because they were the bomb.
See, out of those, I've only really watched Powerpuff Girls and a little bit of Dexter's Laboratory. Yeah, I didn't like Ed, Ed and Eddie.
No,
I didn't like it, and I didn't like Courage the Cowardly Dog.
the Courage the Cowardly Dog, I was a little about, like I wasn't all
Yeah.
about it. But there are a couple of like, oh, excuse me, like episodes from there that my
Mm-hmm.
family and I still kind of like joke around about. But for the most part, like I felt like Dexter's Laboratory reminded me so much of me and my brother, so that's why I like it. And then Powerpuff
Yeah.
Girls is just a classic, like why not?
Yeah.
And Ed and Eddie had just had that dumb humor that there's a part of me that just loves.
See, I think I don't like that kind of humor. Like, I don't think that's my humor.
Mm,
I think I have a very, I do like the sarcastic humor a lot,
yeah.
which is why like Chandler was my favorite character on Friends
Hmm.
because it had that sarcastic humor, and so oh, that's why.
Yeah. So that's why I'm bringing that one up. Where's my pen? There's that one. And then I actually only have one more on my list.
Oh,
For
do you want to go ahead and give it, and
Yeah.
then I'm gonna see if I can find anything else.
No, I lied. I have two more. Sorry.
Okay.
So this next one um is kind of from Nickelodeon,
Mm-hmm.
and that's SpongeBob. I have to bring that one on there because that was a huge part of my childhood, like a
Yeah.
huge part of my childhood. I haven't watched any recent ones, so I'm all about like them old episodes,
Yeah.
some of which I know like a little too well. um, but yeah, I had to throw that one on there. I used to tell people that SpongeBob was my crush, so go figure. But yeah, that one's I it's not for everyone, but again, I there's a part of me that looks like that likes that dumb humor, so it was perfect for me.
Yeah. So I liked it, but I didn't really choose to watch it. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Mm,
But I don't know. I don't know what my feelings are towards it. It's more nostalgia rather than like
like,
this is a really good show.
gotcha. Okay.
But yeah. Um one show that's really, really funny is called Kim's Convenience. It's on Netflix. And it's about this I think they're Korean, a Korean family in Canada.
Mhm.
And it's just like they own a convenience store and it's so funny.
Oh, okay.
It's really funny. You should watch it.
Nice.
That one I will recommend. Sure.
Um, this next one is anime, and there's a lot
Okay.
of anime in there, but I'm just gonna say the classic Dragon Ball.
Mm.
Um, Now, if there was a fictional character that I would wish to meet, it would be Goku, like hands down. So I am obsessed with Dragon Ball. I grew up with that as well.
Yeah.
It's just great. I recommend it. Like, even if you don't like anime, I still recommend it. It's so good and funny and just, it's great. So that one's mine.
Um, let me do one more. I'm trying to get a really good one that might be
And it
good,
was
amazing. Yeah, to end it with. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. This show called the show Queer Eye. They like give makeovers and stuff,
Hmm.
and it's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. But it's also very emotional, and so
Mm.
I cry and I laugh at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So like because they like go in and they give them a makeover, but they like make over like their look, and then they give them new clothes. They redo their house or whatever they want. So like there was one where they redid the church because he was like a pastor.
Hmm.
And so and then they like teach them how to cook and stuff so they can get like healthy and stuff. And then they give them like a mini therapy session like throughout the whole thing. It's really, really good. And so I think I always cry. I think there's never been an episode where I didn't cry, at least. Like not even a tear. So it's really good.
Nice. Well, mine was, I think my last one was Dragon Ball, and then in parentheses I put PBS shows, which to get a good like actual list of them, you should go listen to our PBS show episode,
Yeah.
and we talk about all of our shows there.
Hmm.
So that's a great way to condense it. But I honestly think we covered a really good like variety set of shows. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, let us know if you agree or disagree on some of our opinions, right? I mean, again, we all have different likes and dislikes. So maybe what
Hmm.
we loved, you weren't so great for it. But nice, yeah. This was our first of many recommendation episodes.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys like them, and then give them a try. And if you like them or you don't, let us know.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I think that's
Nice. All right. We'll
it.
see you for the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.